want to talk to you about why Shen Jungle is so strong and why it's been working so darn freaking gloriously for me. As you can see, this is my Smurf account that I've been leveling. If you've been in the live streams, you've been watching it happen. But I did finally get both of these. Finally, it didn't take me that long, but I finally got both of these to gold. It took me 26 wins on Flex. I think I was placed silver 2, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, I was placed a lot lower. It might have been silver 4, 3. I don't know. We'll look it up. But this one I was placed silver 2. It took me 29 wins. I'm getting 29 LP per win. So MMR is really, really high. I think it was like Platinum 5 before I lost a couple games. Now I think it's Platinum 2. But this is working really, really well in low elo, and I've been doing it all with Shen Jungle. And if you don't believe me, you can look at my match history. It is filled with Shen Jungle. Shen Jungle, like literally all 20 of my games, Shen Jungle. It's just really, really good, and I'm going to show you why. But before I get into that, I'm going to go over Runes and Masteries, because if you're this far in the video, I guarantee you there's already one person out there who hasn't watched this far into the video and is commenting right now, what Runes and Masteries do you run? I guarantee it. So we're going to cover this first just to hinder those comments, alright? So this is the rune page I've been running. Flat armor, AD, flat MR, and then attack speed. You can run a lot of different runes with Shen. You can run CDR, you can run scaling HP, you can run a lot of different things. This page is perfect for a Smurf account because they are the cheapest runes that you can get minus the attack speed. Attack speed Quints are a little more expensive. I think they're 1,050 a piece, but the armor, attack damage, and magic resist are the cheapest runes you can get. So it's really, really good for Smurf accounts because it doesn't cost you much IP at all. Granted, I have plenty of IP now, but when I started, I didn't. But this is the only rune page I have on this account, and it's what I've been using for literally every single game. So, excuse me, I just burped. But yeah, that's what I've been using. Mastery-wise, this is my page, 12018, pretty self-explanatory. If you guys want to use other things, obviously you can. Runes and Masteries are preference. Build them to fit your playstyle. If you're going to play aggro early, run some flat masteries like HP or something that doesn't involve scaling, so you're stronger early. And vice versa, if you want to play for late game, run stuff that scales, stuff like that. So I think the biggest thing that I want to cover on this page is why I run Stoneborn Pact. It is no longer a Bond of Stone. You guys ask me why I run Bond of Stone. It's not actually Bond of Stone anymore, it's Stoneborn Pact, and it's completely different. Grasp Building and Dying is more for top lane, for dueling. You're not gonna proc any of these in the jungle, but it's meant for 1v1s, it's meant for dueling, sustain, and damage. It's not going to benefit your team in a team fight, it's only going to benefit you, therefore I rule it out. Shen is very much a tank and very much a peeling team fight oriented tank. So running something that only benefits you throughout the game, not very good. But if you're playing top lane, by all means run Grasp. I run Grasp on top lane, because in that case you're solo laning, it's more about you instead of team play. Jungler is more about team play. Courage of the Colossus. You can run this, but the reason I don't like it is because the shortest cooldown you can have at max level is 30 seconds, meaning you're only going to proc it once. Therefore, I rule it out. Stoneborn Pact, however, right off the bat gives you 5% total HP. And if you combine that with Cinderhawk, which also gives you bonus HP, this thing is beautiful. Not only does it make you a lot tankier, but it allows anyone on your team to heal if they attack the people that you CC or slow. So if you taunt, let's say you get a triple taunt, or you taunt in and then drag your Q through champions, anyone who attacks those champions are going to heal 5 plus 2.5% of your maximum HP. So if you're playing Shen and stacking HP, which you should, your team's going to be healing a lot from you just being there and CCing people. This is a very, very strong solo mastery and team fight mastery, because you're getting the bonus HP, which always helps you, and then you're also helping your team by giving them heals in team fights. So really, really solid page. This is what I've been running though for Runes of Mastery, so before you guys ask me, this is it. You guys are seeing it. That is that. But I do want to show you my my op.gg page. If you guys didn't know, na.op.gg, or whatever server you're on, doesn't have to be NA, is a great site. Obviously this isn't sponsored or anything like that. I'm just showing you my darn stats because you guys ask all the time. So This is the stat for this. My win rate is only 59%, mainly, actually solely because I played Sejuani. She's not even in the history. That was a very, very long time ago. Yeah, it's not even there. But yeah, I played Sejuani a lot when I first started this account, and she was absolutely garbage, which is why I stopped playing her. But since then, we've been, obviously our lowest win rate is 63% since then. So we have been doing a lot of work with Shen Jungle. This is literally all Shen Jungle. And we have a 76% win rate overall. Pretty darn good. Past 21 games, we're 16 and 5, 6.45 KDA, 76% win rate. That is solid. That is solid. I would take that any day of the week. Granted, it is lower elo. It is gold 5. MMR is actually gold 2, so I think I am playing against platinums. Okay, I am playing against platinums. Plat 4, Plat 4, Plat 5. Let's look at these games. Yeah, so I am gold 5, but my MMR is really high, so I'm actually playing against platinums. Plat 3, Plat 4, Plat 5, gold 1, Plat... Yeah, so I would say the average this game is definitely Plat 5 or higher, but MMR is really good on this account, doing pretty darn well, and it is solely because of Shen Jungle. Why is Shen Jungle so good all of a sudden? There's a few things that factor into that. One, his Q does more damage to monsters now. His Q got nerfed against minions, but it got buffed against monsters. So his jungle clear is faster than it was before with his Q change alone. Not only is his Q buffed, Cinderhawk got buffed. It does double damage now to monsters. So you got two buffs there that really, really benefit Shen in the jungle. And then on top of that, the items that you build now on Shen, at least I've been building, are cheaper. They're more cost effective. They're items that you can get earlier in the game. One of them is Ohm Wrecker. People are like, what's Ohm Wrecker? I've never heard of it. Didn't even know it was in the game. Most people respond that way. They're like, what is that? It's an item that gives you armor. So normally, I'll go over my build order real quick on Shen Jungle. I always go Cinderhawk. Always go Cinderhawk. I get either Ninja Tabbies or Merc Treads, and then after that is where it gets into situational items. Once you have your Tutu Boots and Cinderhawk, you get into the core items that you need that are, when I say core, I mean like the core tank items that you need. They're situational, but you know what I mean. So obviously, if you're against heavy AD, get an armor item first. You can get Randuin's. You can get Ohm Wrecker, which I've been trying out recently, and it has been a ton of fun. I think I've played 3 games with it recently, and I've won all of them. I'm pretty sure I've won all of them. Yeah. 3? Just 3? Yeah, I played 3 with Ohm Wrecker and won all 3. So it's a really, really cheap item and cost effective. You get HP, you get armor, you get 150% base health regen, you get CDR, and you can tower dive all day because you disable towers with active. Really, really strong. Obviously, you get movement speed as well, which really, movement speed is so underrated on Shen. It's really, really good for getting into taunt range and stuff like that. So all around, Ohm Wrecker, solid item. I love it. I'm gonna keep building it. You can also go Randuin's. The new Randuin's has been changed. I think it's better, but the build path is kind of strange. So we'll see how that plays out. I've only been playing 1 day on the new 7.9 patch with the new items. So I'll have to do an updated video on that later, but Randuin's is still good. I think it's better. It's just a really strange build path now. But that being said, go an armor item. Don't go Thornmail first. I mean, you don't want to go Thornmail without HP to back it up. Usually go Thornmail either 4th or 5th. You want HP behind it or you're just going to be squishy anyway. But if scrolling through here, you can look at my builds. I usually get an armor item, maybe a couple armor items. MR if I need it, and then sometimes I'll squeeze in a damage item, but if I do a damage item, it's going to be either Wit's End or some form of tank item. I don't think I built Titanic. I did build Titanic, okay. That was a Garen game. I was like, that's a strange Shen build. But yeah, the 2 damage items that I have been working in have been Wit's End or Titanic. Both are really, really good on Shen, but for the most part, I'm building full tank and getting a really, really good KDAs. Like, really good. 4-2, 21, 609, 8-0, 14, 12-1, 17. Had a rough game there, but these KDAs are pretty solid. Overall KDAs almost 5, so pretty solid. But that should give you guys a pretty good feel for the runes and masteries I run, the status of this account, how well I've been climbing through low elo. Obviously, Shen Jungle is working pretty darn well in low elo, and the builds that I build and like the build order. So I think that should answer most of your questions. As the new items come out, I will be doing builds with them and trying them out. As you can see, I built a Gargoyle Stone Plate there. I haven't built Adaptive Helm yet. That's like an extremely situational item that I don't think will be very strong, in my opinion, unless you're against a heavy AP team that does damage over time, which is very rare, but could be really good. And then I guess I could talk about Gargoyle Stone Plate. So this essentially is a disguised GA. So what they did to the old GAs, they gave it AD so tanks couldn't build it. And then they introduced this item for tanks that gives you the same armor, magic resist that GA would give you. And instead of giving you a revive, it's doubling your HP. So essentially, it's exactly like GA, except instead of reviving, you just get doubled HP on the active. So this is a hidden GA that Riot put in the game. If you guys didn't think of it that way, that's how I'm thinking about it. Because that's essentially what it is. It gives you armor, MR, and doubles your HP, which is like a revive. But it's pretty darn solid item if you want GA. So the way I would approach this item, it's very situational. If you were going to build GA in a game with the old GA, instead of building that, you would now build this. So if that makes sense, so if you want to build the old GA, you would build this instead. So obviously you don't build GA on Shen mini games, but when you do, you would now build this instead. So that's kind of where that item fits. The Adaptive Helm is an extremely situational item. You have to be against heavy AP and heavy AP damage over time champions like Brand or Malzahar or a Moo or someone else that does a lot of damage over time. Not a whole lot of champions that do that are AP, but it could be good in certain rare situations. And then the what's the other item? I feel like there's another item. Oh, the reworked Abyssal. That's what it is. This item's pretty good. Obviously, it gives you. This is like a hidden version of Ohm Record. It gives you the same 4 stats. It gives you HP, resist, base health regen, and CDR. The same exact 4 stats as Ohm Record. It's a pretty cheap item, and it increases your damage by 10%. Obviously, you do magic damage with your Q, with Sunfire, with Cinderhawk, with Thornmail, and with Wit's End. So it's just going to amplify everyone on your team, amplify their damage by 10%. So that's really, really good. Abyssal is really good for team fights, obviously, because not only do you do 10% more damage, but your whole team does. So that's a pretty solid item, but I think that covers everything I wanted to cover with Shen and Shen Jungle and why I think it's so good and why it clearly has been working for me. If you guys have any questions, please ask in the comments below. I would be happy to answer them. But as always, please remember to like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys later. Have a lovely rest of your day.